Hey fam, thanks for coming back. For my new viewers, my name is Elle. Today I wanted to talk to you all about the full moon total lunar eclipse that we will be experiencing tomorrow, September 27th in the evening. Now, let me tell you this. Aside from all of the other energy that we are going through with all of the planets, I want to remind you that we are still in the energy of the vortex of Ganesh. Ganesh is the god that deals with removing obstacles, power, fortune, finances, and blessed, great, abundant possibilities. So, his portal and the portal of Ganesh, it opened on the 23rd, I believe, and it will close on the 28th. We started a celebration for his birthday on the 17th of this month. And during the celebration of his birthday and also the opening of his portal that started on the 23rd, it was recommended that we start to recite his mantra, which is Om Gam Ganapanahi Namaha. So I have listened to different vlogs and read all different kinds of information about the number of times that it's suggested that we recite this mantra. And normally, when the mantra is recited, it is recited 108 times. But during this time period and the opening of his portal and the energy of the portal being open, it's recommended that we recite this mantra in thousands. So like you would recite it 1,000 times a day, or 6,000 times a day, or 16,000 times a day, in order to really utilize the energy. Also, what you can do is you could set your intentions. You could clear out everything that you realize no longer is working with you, that you no longer need, and you can take a coconut and like break it on the floor, and that will represent overcoming the obstacles and the challenges. And it also represents the power of Ganesh. You know, he encompasses overcoming obstacles. So basically, like, you can't just, it's not easy to break open a coconut, but when you smash it on the floor, that is a pure representation of his energy and how strong it is, and how helpful it will, it symbolizes how it will help you to overcome whatever obstacle or challenge that you have in your life. So don't forget that the apex of the energy of this portal being opened is actually tomorrow. The Now let's go into the good stuff, right? Which is the full moon and the eclipse. This full moon is going to be a blood moon, meaning that it is a harvest moon, because we just experienced the day of the equinox, and the equinox was on September 23rd. So it's just so beautifully synchronistic that we are also experiencing this super full moon total lunar eclipse. And this full moon is super because it will be closer, it will appear like it's very, very close to the earth. I'm not sure if any of you had the opportunity to actually see the moon last night, but I did, and it looked like I could just like reach up and touch it. I know tonight it will be even bigger, and tomorrow, which is the 27th, when we hit the apex of the full moon and the eclipse, the moon will appear to be red. During a solar eclipse, and I wish I could give you like an exact time, but all of the information that I have received regarding the time of the full moon and the time of the eclipse varies within 2 hours. A few websites that I was reading said that the eclipse would start to occur around 8:30, 8:40. And a couple other websites that I read stated that the full moon would occur around 10:20. So that left me in a state of confusion. And I didn't want to give you a specific time just in case you all were interested in doing rituals or meditations or group meditations, or whatever the case is that you were going to do, or how you were going to use the energy. I did not want to give you incorrect information, but I did want to let you know that depending on what site you read, it will tell you a different time. So it is very important for you to go to different sites, and depending on what time zone you live in, it will occur at a different time. The full moon and the total eclipse. There's different parts of the eclipse. I'm not going to go into detail about the different parts, but you want to make sure that if you are doing a ritual, you start doing the ritual from the time the eclipse starts to the time the eclipse ends. And the eclipse will start on the 27th in the evening, and it will end, I believe, in the early morning of the 28th. So you want to, if you can't continue to do your ritual or whatever it is that you're doing for the hours that the eclipse will last, at least you were able to use the energy of the eclipse at its peak. So I wanted to give you that information because I think that that's really important. So during a lunar eclipse, what happens is that you have the moon over here, then you have the earth, and then you have the sun. And like I said in a past vlog that I did, an eclipse is when an object is prevented from being seen, whether it be prevented because another object comes in front of it, or because something is casting a shadow on it, preventing you from seeing it in the object in its full view. So, with that being said, during a lunar eclipse, what will happen is the earth will prevent the sun's light from hitting the moon. And in the earth preventing the sun's light from hitting the moon, the earth will cast a shadow on the moon. During a total lunar eclipse, what happens is the moon will pass through the shadow of the earth. The moon will completely pass through the total shadow of the earth. And when this happens, what is happening in the sky is that the moon, the earth, and the sun are in a perfect line with each other. And the moon will cast it'll have like a red tint to it, making it look like it's a blood moon. Now, being that we are also in the energy of the fall equinox, it is also a harvest moon, and that allows us to also work with the energy of collectively thinking about our relationships, because the lunar eclipse deals more with relationships, how we think about how we relate to ourselves and how we relate to our partners. And this full moon will definitely deal with partnership relationships, whether they be business relationships or marriage, boyfriend and girlfriend, significant other, however you want to name it. Because to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you, fam, the way we relate to each other is changing so drastically, and how we label things is just like completely changing drastically as well. But that is another vlog in and of itself. Like, that is a whole different topic altogether. But staying on track with what I was saying to you before about how this lunar eclipse is dealing with relationships, what will most likely happen is, because the moon is in the sign of Aries, and like I always do, I take notes so that I'm not rambling all over the place. So Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. Aries deals with being enthusiastic. They're go-getters. They want to start things fresh. They have the courage to do and say anything. They feel like they know who they are, and they just, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to use it. They are very authentic to what they feel, and they express what they feel and they have the courage to do it. So this full moon encompasses how we relate to our significant others, or how we relate to the people that we are in partnerships with. And because the moon is in Aries, it'll make us feel like we have to stay true to who we really are. If it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, marriage type relationship, you may feel like, the women may feel like, well, do I want to be the typical wife? Do I want to be like the slutty, kinky, new age wife? Or do I just want to be like the old-fashioned, traditional one? Women during this full moon, we may feel like we are trying to decide which one of those three we feel more comfortable with, which one of those three we want to express more, how we want to balance all three of them together, how these different energies and characteristics of being a woman, wife, significant other, or whatever the case may be, falls in line with the relationship that we're in, what we expect from our mate, and also what our mate might expect from us, especially if we are in a marriage. And I say that because traditionally speaking, marriages are forever, but like I said, relationships are definitely changing, and we will speak about that in a different vlog. The men on the other side, when it comes to the energy of this full moon, may start to question what their ideal mate really is, even if they are in a marriage or a long-lasting relationship or a committed relationship or a relationship whereby they have made a specific they've laid down specific restrictions and or expectations. The men may start to feel like, well, do I want this traditional wife? Do I, is my ideal mate somebody who's like kind of kinky? Is my ideal mate somebody who's more like traditional? What is it that I expect out of this relationship? So these are the questions that both male and females may encounter internally. And because we're and the moon is in the sign of Aries, what may happen, or what you may see happen, or what you may feel is that now that you're questioning this stuff about you and who you really are, you may have the courage to show it more. You may have the courage to be a little more sexy, or you may have the courage to tell your mate, I would like you to cook every night like a traditional wife, whatever the case may be. But the energy of Aries gives us the courage to say what we want. It gives us the courage to start things anew. It gives us the courage to see what we don't necessarily want, express it, so that we can get what we want out of the relationships that we have. Yeah. I'm not sure if you feel that or you see that, but that is the energy that surrounds the full moon being in Aries. And not only that, if you don't see that, you may be experiencing some struggle, or you may be experiencing situations where you argue with your mate for whatever reason it is, or there's a disagreement that happens between you all that might blow up into something that it doesn't necessarily have to be, all because each of you are you all are struggling internally to be more real with yourselves and also more real with your mates. And in saying that and in being in this energy, this gives us a perfect opportunity to heal. It's just like such beautiful energy, just like all of the other energy we're in, because It also gives us, because we're in Mercury retrograde, it also gives us the time to think about the past and about how certain things may not have worked out with us. And then Aries gives us the courage to act upon what it is that we want. But we also learning our lessons, so we may act upon it in a different way that is more prosperous to what it is we're trying to accomplish, or how we want our relationship to function. So all of it is about healing, basically. It's really about identifying what doesn't work, identifying how and why it doesn't work, thinking about how you may have reacted in the past. If it didn't work out with your reaction, implementing new and adventurous, and having the courage to implement new ways to make it work out, so that both parties could benefit from this newfound knowledge, from realizing that certain things don't work, from the pain that comes up from the arguments, from being able to view things in a different way. All of this energy complements inner growth, interpersonal growth, and growth within relationships, and also balance. Because when you think about it like this, although I said that the women may experience those three different things, they may question themselves about those three different things, and the men may question themselves about the three different things also. It's a form of trying to find balance. Now, I don't think anybody could be I don't think anybody can be just like it is possible, but then I wonder, what type of relationship would you have if you were just so strictly traditional? I think people like change. They appreciate change. They don't want the same thing all of the time. And in traditional relationships, I think that's kind of boring. Like, who just wants to have missionary sex all of the time? That's just boring. Like, are you serious? But on the other hand, who wants to have like down, dirty, nasty sex? Who could have that all of the time? Sometimes you have sex. Sometimes, excuse my friend, sometimes you fuck. Sometimes you make love. It has to be an equal and balanced variety of everything, because too much of one thing equals boredom. So with this energy also, it allows you to balance all three of these different types of energies and personalities when it comes to relationships. And it doesn't even have to be like a marriage or boyfriend and girlfriend. It could be a business relationship. Like, if you want to flip the script and think about it business wise, sometimes traditional business doesn't always work. You can't have the same business ethics as we've had in the 1800s, because it just doesn't work all of the time, and that is boring to the consumer. It doesn't work. But you can't be over the top and have like such crazy business ideas all of the time, or also because you won't have any consumers, because they just won't get what it is, what the product is, and what you are trying to sell them, and how you're trying to help them with your product. Sometimes it doesn't always benefit you or profit the business to always be on a flat level when it comes to your business ideas. It's like with car makers, they can't always make the same car over and over again. They're not going to get customers. They're not going to get people buying their cars. They could definitely have the traditional cars, because people always like vintage cars, but they can't always make the vintage cars. People like new age cars, but some people just can't afford them. And then there's some people who like, the cars made for this time. You have to be able to balance all aspects of business and your personal relationships. And I mentioned, being slutty, being traditional, and being just like a regular, I guess, like new age wife, because that gives you a more descriptive idea of the type of energy that we are in. And to be honest with you, this energy is about personal relationships. So we will definitely be going through that battle within ourselves. Not only is the energy about personal relationships, but there is high intense energy regarding sex in this full moon. And typically when there's a full moon, people go loony, like they lose their mind, because the full moon is a time when you feel full, like you feel like there's something that you have to do. You have to get this energy out of you. And there may be a lot of sex involved this weekend and surrounding this full moon, because it's just that type of energy. Also with the moon being eclipsed, meaning that there's no sunlight hitting the moon. If you don't know, let me remind you. The moon's energy is more female. It's more along the lines of intuition. It's more along the lines of feelings. It's like things that are deep down inside that you might not necessarily be able to express, but you definitely feel, but you might not be able to express it so clearly that other people understand it. Because the moon is not getting any sun, and the sun is associated with energy. Now my son is busting into my room again. Isn't this like so ironically coincidental that every time I've been making videos, he's been coming in my room? Like, I gotta do a reading on that. But anyway, the sun deals with power. It deals with shedding light on things. It deals with being illuminated. It deals with your logic mind. The moon deals with your soul, your emotions, being intuitive, things that are underneath the surface. When there's no sunlight shining on the moon, we may not be able to tap into our intuition too much, and things that we are normally able to feel about situations and about people and about relationships and about ourselves may be hidden from us because we are in a lunar eclipse. Eclipse, again, something is preventing us from seeing. So during this full moon lunar eclipse, we may be prevented from seeing the true intentions of ourselves and of other people. But then on top of that, because the moon is in Aries, we'll have the courage to say it, or we'll have the courage to have a conversation about it. If it doesn't come out in a conversation, it might come out in an argument. Why? Because Mercury is in retrograde and communication is all botched up. We might send a text to somebody and it could be a text saying, hey, I didn't understand what you meant by this, and it turns into an argument because communication is all botched up. But you're using the energy of the moon being in Aries to have the courage to say, hey, I don't understand, when normally you'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to not even pay attention to this. And like I was saying earlier, all of these different energies, they play into each other really nicely, and they are allowing us to heal and to heal our relationships so that they can be better, or to sit back and see the things that we really don't like, to decide if we still want to deal in these relationships, whether they be marriage, significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, even family. Like, your family is not exempt from you saying, listen, I don't want to deal with you no more. Just because they family doesn't mean that you don't feel like that or you haven't made that decision. So don't think that this is all about interpersonal relationships or sexual relationships or marriage. It encompasses everything. It's just that this full moon total lunar eclipse directly deals with how we interact in our relationships and how we are able to view the things that we might not like, how we may feel about our role, how we may feel about what we expect our mate's role to be, and have the courage to say something about it so that we can heal. That also ties into every other relationship. And I wanted to express that as well. So it's just like, I think it's really, I like the full moons because I just like, I like the hidden things. I know that there's always something hidden, and I've learned to sit back and wait to see what it is. Because normally whatever is hidden, I know it's going to happen anyway, so I'm able to like sit back and not react. And that's what I'm asking you to do for this full moon. Secrets may be revealed. They may be revealed outright, or something might slip in a conversation that you're having with somebody, and you're going to be like, and this energy gives you the courage to either say something or decide whether or not you want to continue, and then start fresh without even, without even thinking twice about it, but learning your lesson and using this experience in the future so that you can be more prosperous in whatever it is, whatever endeavor you decide to partake in. So I wanted to, definitely give you that information. It's very powerful. If you see people around you, going crazy with, hollering at each other, arguing, that's just the energy that we're in. Things are gonna go crazy. They're gonna go crazy. And what our job is to understand the energy and be able to sidestep it. If we're not able to sidestep it, to ground ourselves so that we are not really too harshly affected by it, because this is a really important time spiritually, energetically, astronomically, socially, politically, financially, psychically. In every way, it's very important for you to stay grounded, for you to stay in your heart center, for you to show love no matter what is happening, for you to surrender no matter what is happening, but for you to also be able to stand up for yourself, but not in a harsh way, and let me give you an example. Something more recently happened with me that I didn't like. And normally I got a text message from somebody. And normally my reaction is to just like go at it, be mean and cuss them and do this and do this and this and that. But because I know that we're in the energy whereby if you don't take responsibility for yourself, then you are pushing and projecting whatever it is that you are experiencing out on other people. And that is what I believe was happening. So instead of me responding and or reacting, what I did was I ignored the text message. I ignored the person, and I chose not to respond at all, because I am of a firm belief that because of all of this energy, and especially because of this eclipse, and I feel like I'm so in tune with the moon. I know that something is being hidden. Now listen, something will be hidden, or secrets will be revealed. And at this point, I have chosen not to react because I know that more will be revealed within the next couple of months. Like I said, the energy of the lunar eclipse will last until March of 2016. So I am just sitting back, patiently waiting for all of the truths to come out. And that's also part of the energy of Aries. Aries energy is like Aries is a fire sign. So it puts it the energy of Aries is like putting the fire to everything that's not false so that the truth could sprout up from it. So since I know we're in that energy, I just let everybody light their fire. I let this person light the fire, and I'll just sit back and toast my marshmallows on the fire and wait for the fire to go out. And once the fire goes out, then I'll know what the real truth is. Instead of reacting now and playing into the energy, I've decided to work with the energy because I know what I know what may come out of it. So, giving you that little synopsis of one of the many things that I am experiencing, I just wanted to tell you that it's all about you understanding the energy, not being afraid, and understanding that everything happens for the betterment of you, whether you don't like it or like it. The things that happen to us that we don't like, those are just things because we don't like them because we wanted and expected something else, because we thought that something else would be better for us. But the powers that be know that it's probably not, and that's why it worked out the way that it did in a way where we don't like it. So I didn't like getting that text message from that person and everything that they said to me, but you know what? Because I know that the powers that be are protecting me and watching over me, I know that at the end of this whole cycle, or even before the end of this whole, the entire energy of the lunar eclipse, I know that the truth will come out, because that person was hot when they sent me that text message. And I'm just sitting back like, L, don't do it. You know what's going on. You know that people are going to be angry, and they're going to show their anger, and they're going to have the courage to show their anger because the moon is in Aries. You know that this is going to happen. So now you have the opportunity to also use the energy of the moon in Aries to start anew. So I started anew by completely eliminating them from my life. And then I was also thinking to myself, okay, L, you know that because there's no sunlight coming to the moon in a couple of days, your intuition may be a little off. So don't react. Just wait. Wait until you can get the full power of your intuition and your other gifts that deal with intuition back, so that the thoughts that you're having and the impressions that you're having, you could be able to definitely say if they're true or not. And then you could act upon them if you choose. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So I hope that you all learned a little something from all of this information about the energy that we're in. And guess what? If you don't experience this and you don't see anybody experiencing this, that's even better, because now you have all of your own energy to combined with the power of the full moon, which is the power of healing, the power of newness, the power of being complete, the power of seeing the things that you have planted since this is not a new one, I'm sorry, use the energy of this full moon to see how the seeds that you have planted from the new moon in earlier September 13th, have come to fruition. And if they haven't come to fruition, guess what? This energy of the full moon is all about looking back and having the courage to start anew if you have to, learning your lessons, and just putting fire to everything that doesn't work, so that maybe you can have new ideas about how to complete whatever it is, that whatever task or goal you wanted to accomplish. So it encompasses a lot of different things. And with that being said, I'm sure that, there's so much more that I want to tell you all, but in the grand scheme of everything, it's like, it's big, but it's kind of small. It's not as big as this full moon. This full moon packs so much energy that you can't help but grow. You cannot help but look back on what you don't like and grow from it. That's like, you have no other choice. Even if you realize that you have fallen victim to the energy, you're still in that contemplating stage.
It's 6:00.
You're still in that stage of contemplation whereby you may be like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have reacted like that, or oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And you're able to grow from all of that, fam. So definitely do your research on the time and start doing your ritual. Start now. Start using the energy of Ganesh portal. Use the energy of the full moon, total lunar eclipse. Set your intentions. Make your list. Do it, do it, do it. Benefit from this energy. Use the energy to get what you want out of life. Use the energy to heal yourself, your relationships, your business, whatever the case may be. But I strongly suggest that you use it. And I think that I just might help you use it by sending everybody who watches this video Reiki. I might just, do that anyway. I don't know. I'm not sure. I probably will, but, I really hope that you enjoyed this vlog and you learned a little something from it and you use all of the energies that we are in to grow, 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 grow. And with that being said, I am going to go so I can do my toenails and I can get myself ready because tomorrow is my son's birthday and there's a lot of things to be done, fam. There's a lot to be done. Use the energy to your benefit. Help yourself and help others, help your loved ones, and help humanity to grow and ascend. I love you all. I will check you later.